On the other hand, we return to the cave where Ash has entered. Inside the cave, a child's cry echoes, and the Asian girl says, "Thank goodness, I found the victim. Besides, my dragon is very hungry. This child's fresh meat will surely please it." After that, she orders her terrorists to feed the child to her dragon. As the terrorists approach the child, Sylvia bravely reveals her true identity to the Asian girl. "I am the true princess. Kill me instead, and please let all these hostages go." Upon learning the truth, without wasting any time, the Asian girl immediately attacks Sylvia. Ash sees the attack, but he can't do anything because he's being restrained by the terrorists. As a result of the attack, Princess Sylvia is severely wounded. While recalling her past, Sylvia remembers how she always wanted to prove herself as a worthy princess to the kingdom of Dragnar, and how she wanted to achieve her dreams. However, Sylvia feels disappointed because she wasn't able to do so. Despite this, Sylvia suddenly rises with renewed motivation and says to the Asian girl, "You cannot kill me. I am Princess Sylvia, the second princess of the kingdom of Dragnar." As Sylvia says this, Princess Veronica and her troops arrive at the scene to rescue Sylvia and the hostages. Upon seeing Princess Veronica, the Asian girl realizes she won't be able to defeat Veronica. So, she tries to flee. But before escaping, she commands her dragon to eat Ash so that it will be full and strong enough for the long journey ahead. The dragon immediately approaches Ash to devour him. Everyone assumes that Ash, who they think is weak, will be the dragon's meal. But before the dragon can eat Ash, Ash manages to use his magical bow just in time. With the help of the bow, Ash is able to communicate directly with Eiko. After receiving the bow at the crucial moment, Ash thanks Eiko, but Eiko says she couldn't let her master die, so she had to do all of this. In the middle of Ash and Eiko's conversation, the Asian girl realizes she can no longer escape, and if she doesn't act quickly, Princess Veronica will kill her. So, she tries to blackmail Ash, saying that if he takes another step or doesn't let her go, she will detonate a bomb that will destroy half the kingdom. However, without hesitation, Ash uses his magic to freeze all the bombs. Before the Asian girl can do anything, Ash also manages to defeat her with his magic. With the help of a spell, the girl and all the bombs are frozen. Afterward, Ash deactivates his special eye equipment, and at the same time, we see a scene from moments after the incident. There, we find Sylvia sitting alone in a secluded spot, and not long after, Ash arrives. Ash then says to Sylvia, "You were amazing today, princess. I saw a different side of you today. I never expected you to be so brave, willing to sacrifice your life for the kingdom of Dragnar. That was truly impressive. I'm sure after seeing all this, Princess Veronica is very proud of you." Hearing all these words from Ash, Sylvia feels incredibly happy. In the middle of their conversation, Ash asks Sylvia, "Why haven't you returned to the castle yet?" Sylvia replies, "I'll return to the castle after I feel better." Hearing this, Ash offers to take Sylvia back to the castle. Then, in the next scene, we see Ash carrying Sylvia on his back as they head toward the castle. We see a frightened girl running, and soon we discover that the terrified girl is Eiko. Eiko is running away from Dragon Tactical, and Dragon Tactical is there trying to capture and eat Eiko. However, before they can do so, we realize that it's all just a dream Eiko is having. Even so, the dream scares Eiko so much that she does something in her bed, though we are not told exactly what she did. The scene shifts, showing a morning scene where we see Eiko feeling very embarrassed, her face turning red. Not long after, Ash wakes up and asks Eiko, "Why did you wake up so early today? You usually wake up late, even later than me." Hearing this, Eiko becomes shy and tries to hide her bed. Seeing this behavior, Ash realizes that Eiko must have done something in bed. Watching Eiko continue to hide it, Ash says, "Don't be embarrassed, let me see. I promise I won't laugh." Hearing Ash's words, Eiko is hesitant at first, but after a while in her cuteness, she allows Ash to check her bed. When Ash lifts the blanket, he sees that Eiko has wet the bed. Seeing this, Ash says, "I'm really not laughing at you, but I didn't know dragons could wet the bed too." Hearing Ash highlight the incident, Eiko becomes extremely embarrassed and angry, to the point where she hits Ash and throws him far away. Iko says, "Why are you making a big deal out of this? I just wet the bed." The scene then shifts, showing Ash rotating his neck to check if it still functions properly after getting hit by Iko. Ash then talks to his friend, saying he doesn't remember the lines for today's meeting. He is worried because, over the last few days, he has spent all his time with Iko, practicing with her, without making any progress at school. Although Ash seems concerned about this, the scene transitions to the student council. There, we see everyone talking about the arrival of a new girl at school. In the middle of this discussion, the student council president, Rebecca, specifically calls for Ash and asks him to come to the student council office immediately. Hearing Ash's name specifically called by the president, everyone is surprised. One of Ash's friends asks, "How does President Rebecca know you?" Ash replies that he is a permanent member of the student council. After that, the scene changes, and we see Ash and Rebecca discussing in the student council office. Meanwhile, Sylvia and her friend secretly listen from outside the door. Since the door is slightly open, they can't resist their curiosity and end up pushing it open a little more, only to get caught by Rebecca and Ash. They then try to lie, saying they were just passing by and accidentally entered. In truth, they thought Rebecca was on a date with Ash, and they were trying to spy on them. However, when they enter, they see that Rebecca and Ash were only discussing cosplay, and in front of them is a girl practicing cosplay. She spoke with such affection, and upon seeing Ash speak so kindly to her, the girl began to see Ash as an older brother. In the middle of their conversation, we are shown the architecture of the Dragonar Kingdom, where we see a girl riding a dragon. This girl looks very much like the young girl we saw earlier. After this scene of the architecture, we return to the student council, where we see Jessica asking the girl, "Why do you sleep in a coffin? Even after cosplaying, you still sleep in a coffin." The girl responds, "Since I was born, I've slept in a coffin because coffins are beds. After death, everyone sleeps in them, so I will too." Jessica says, "But you're not dead, so you shouldn't be sleeping in a coffin." The girl responds, "First of all, this is not a coffin. It's my bed, and I like sleeping here." In the middle of their conversation, Rebecca begins to introduce the girl. Rebecca explains that this girl's name is Luca, and Luca is an heir from a very important family in the Dragonar Kingdom. Luca's family is very influential. They hold great power, and although Luca is still very young, she already possesses a lot of authority. However, Luca does not know how to use or control her power. In fact, although she's still young, she has her own dragon, and her dragon is very powerful. However, Luca can't use or control her dragon's power, and this makes her very sad. Ash can understand Luca's situation very well because he has gone through all of these things himself. Ash received a lot of insults and ridicule because of this, so he's already used to it, but Luca is still very young, and that's why she's struggling. The next scene shows Ash walking home, thinking about Luca, how it feels to have great power but be unable to control it. Ash also reflects on his relationship with Iko. When Ash arrives home, he calls for Iko. "I'm home. Iko, open the door." As soon as she hears Ash's voice, Iko immediately opens the door without hesitation and charges at Ash like Roman Reigns, pushing him far away. After that, we see Ash giving Iko something to eat and saying, "I thought you'd be tired, but after seeing your jump just now, it seems like you're not hungry or weak." Ash tries to cheer Iko up with his words, but it has no effect on her. She remains very sad. Seeing this, Ash asks Iko, "What's wrong? Why are you so sad?" Iko explains that she often has scary nightmares, and every time in the dream, she sees a tentacle dragon. Hearing this, Ash says, "Tonight, you won't have nightmares." Then, the scene shifts to the night, where Ash is thinking about Iko and why he keeps having the same recurring nightmare. In his bed, Ash reflects, while on the other side, Iko is also still awake, haunted by her nightmares. As Iko is thinking about the nightmare, she realizes that someone has come and laid down next to her. When she looks to the side, she sees that Ash has come to sleep beside her. Ash says, "Don't worry, I know you can't sleep. I'll sleep next to you, so you can rest. And if you start to have nightmares, just hold on to me. It will make you feel like someone is with you, and your nightmares won't seem as scary. Don't worry, I'll always be here to support you." Hearing Ash's words, Iko feels better because Ash cares so much about her. As Iko reflects on all this, Ash continues, "And besides, it's so embarrassing that you keep wetting the bed even though you're already grown. That's not good. So I'll sleep next to you so you don't keep wetting the bed." Ash says this while laughing, and hearing it, Iko becomes very angry. She shouts angrily, "What do you think? That I'm doing this on purpose? Wetting the bed?" And then she kicks Ash very hard, sending him flying into the wall with a loud crash. With this scene, our story moves to the next part, where we see the events of the following day. In that scene, we see Ash with Iko and his friends, talking. At that moment, Ash's attention shifts to Luca, and seeing her, Ash wonders, what is Luca doing? Isn't she usually with President Rebecca? Then, we are shown that Luca is heading to a place where a very dangerous dragon resides. And it's not just any dragon, it's Luca's own dragon. Despite her young age, Luca is already the master of a very powerful dragon. As Luca approaches her dragon, she starts to recall some memories. However, in the midst of it all, the dragon roars menacingly at Luca, as if it is very angry with her. Luca feels terrified seeing her own dragon, so enraged and quickly flees. Ash also sees Luca running away, and he's confused. What is Luca doing? To find out more about Luca, Ash goes directly to Rebecca and begins asking about her. After hearing Ash's questions, Rebecca explains the whole relationship between Luca and her dragon. Rebecca also mentions that Luca's dragon is furious with her, but Luca doesn't know why. Nor does she understand how her bond with the dragon has become so damaged. Hearing all of Luca's problems, Ash says, "I can help Luca. I can create bonds or connections with any dragon. I can even control other people's dragons. I'm the only one with this ability in the entire Dragonar Kingdom. I want to form a bond with Luca's dragon to find out what's really going on, why it hates her so much. I truly want to help Luca, Rebecca, because I know how important the bond between a person and their dragon is in the Dragonar Kingdom." After hearing all of this from Ash, Rebecca gives Ash permission to try and control and bond with Luca's dragon. With this scene, our story moves to the day when Ash will attempt to control Luca's dragon. In the first scene of that day, we see Rebecca, Ash, and others at the location. Rebecca says to Ash, "Are you ready to control the third most powerful dragon in the kingdom?" Ash responds, "Yes, of course," and immediately begins preparing his armor to control the dragon. As Ash prepares, Luca's dragon also gets ready to attack Ash. Just as Ash approaches the dragon, the episode ends. The next episode begins by showing the events from the previous one, where Ash is approaching the dragon and has just activated his powers. However, the dragon suddenly disappears. Seeing the dragon vanish, Ash wonders where it went. As he thinks this, Rebecca shouts, "Ash, look up!" When Ash looks up, he sees that the dragon has prepared a full spell and is ready to attack him. When the dragon strikes Ash, there's a huge explosion. Seeing the attack, we might think that Ash didn't survive. But as the dust and smoke clear, we see that Ash has created a shield just in time using the full power of his armor, which protected him from the dragon's attack. However, after taking this hit, Ash becomes very weak. With just one strike from the dragon, Ash completely collapses. Ash's armor cannot hold up much longer, and soon after, his armor shatters. From this attack, we can estimate just how powerful Luca's dragon is, as it managed to destroy Ash's armor with just one blow. After Ash's defeat, the scene shifts to a cafe, where we see Ash and the others sitting with sad expressions. They all seem disappointed because their plan failed entirely, and Ash couldn't hold off the dragon, even for a short time. Ash then asks Rebecca, "Can I talk to Luca?" Rebecca gives him permission. At this point, Iko is very angry that Ash hasn't given up and still wants to help Luca, even knowing that it could risk his life. But Ash remains determined to help Luca. In the next scene, we see Luca's home, where Luca is recalling memories of how she received her dragon when it was still young, and her dragon was also very small at that time. Luca has cared for her dragon since then. So here, we learn how strong the bond between Luca and her dragon is. As Luca reflects on the past, Ash and Iko arrive at Luca's house. Ash tells Luca that Rebecca has set up a dragon camp and suggests that Luca go there, where she can get help controlling her dragon. However, Galleon, her dragon, will not listen to anyone except Luca herself, so Luca must control it alone. After hearing all this, Luca remembers the times when she trained Galleon, and with renewed determination, she says to Ash, "I will definitely come to that camp." The scene then shifts to the night, where we see a mysterious girl returning home, and there, her master is already sitting, waiting for her. The girl asks, "When did you arrive?" And her master replies, "We don't have time to talk about that right now." "Will the new soldiers at the Dragner Academy go to the training camp?" the girl asked. The mysterious character replied, "Yes, they will all go to the training camp." "Good," the mysterious character said. "Then, I will kill all the new soldiers at once, and this will create a big problem for the Dragner Kingdom. After that, our kingdom will easily take control of Dragner." Upon hearing her master's plan, the girl said, "Ash has become a big problem for us. He is no longer as weak as he used to be. Now, he is much stronger and has even mastered his arc. He can activate it." Hearing this, the master replied, "Are you doubting my abilities?" And immediately after the mysterious character said this, the scene shifted. Elsewhere, we see everyone preparing to leave for the training camp. As Rebecca announced the departure, everyone mounted their dragons and headed to the camp. Once many people arrived at the training camp, Rebecca told them, "This camp will be one of the most important moments of your lives. You will learn many things here. You will face various challenges in this training camp, but if you use your skills, you will be able to overcome them all easily. Oh yes, one more thing, the training will start tomorrow, so you can have fun today," Rebecca said. Upon hearing this, everyone was very excited, and then we see the next scene where everyone is having fun and enjoying their races. Amid the fun, we see that at headquarters, Luca is sleeping alone, still very sad because even though she is a Dragner, she cannot control her dragon. The scene then shifts to nighttime, where we see Ash walking and then noticing Luca going somewhere. Ash begins to follow Luca. On the other side, the mysterious girl also arrives at the headquarters. Ash follows Luca until they reach a place where Luca meets her dragon, Gavel. Luca says to Gavel, "I want to go back to the time when I was your master, when I rode you." "Gavel, can those days come back? Will you accept me as your master again?" Luca approaches Gavel, but Gavel roars loudly, as if very angry with her. Seeing this, Luca loses all her courage and sits down in despair. Seeing Luca so hopeless, Ash approaches her, but Gavel, furious at the sight of Ash, prepares to attack him. As Gavel charges at Ash, Ash barely avoids him and runs into the forest, but Gavel chases after him. Gavel relentlessly attacks Ash in the forest. After a long time of evading Gavel's attacks, Ash finally manages to mount Gavel and tries to connect with him to understand what's happening. But Ash is hit with a shocking realization. Gavel is no ordinary dragon. He is incredibly powerful, making it difficult even for Ash to control him. As a result, Ash is severely injured and on the brink of death. At the same time, the mysterious girl watches as Ash lies dying, and she remembers how Ash had once saved her life. She is torn between obeying her master or saving Ash. After some thought, she finally decides to save him. On the other side, we see a scene inside Ash's mind where he wakes up and sees a girl. This girl is the one who once helped create the arc for Eco. When Ash wakes, the girl says, "I've been waiting for you for a long time." Confused, Ash asks, "Who are you?" The girl introduces herself as Navi and explains that when Ash tried to control the dragon, he had almost succeeded. However, the dragon severed the connection just in time using its head's power. Navi also says, "Don't worry, I live in your subconscious, so I know everything. I know the reason why Luca can no longer ride her dragon." Gavel has distanced himself from Luca because he wants to protect her life. Navi then recounts that a month ago, when Luca was teaching Gavel a special attack, Gavel used all his power, making his movements incredibly fast. As a result, Luca fell from Gavel and nearly lost her life. Gavel blamed himself for the incident, and since then, he hasn't allowed Luca to approach him. Gavel believes that he is a threat to Luca, and if she tries to ride him again, she could lose her life. Therefore, Gavel keeps Luca away from him. After Navi explains all of this, Ash begins to fade from his subconscious. In the midst of this, Navi kisses Ash and says, If I had the chance to be yours, I would take it, Ash. And the reason Ash disappears is because he is waking up in real life. Amidst these events, we see a very remote place where Miss Canwell finds herself. Miss Canwell arrived at this place after getting lost, thinking that no one had ever mentioned this place at the camp. As Miss Canwell explores the area, she hears a voice from behind. Anna, what are you doing here? Back away quietly. You are very weak before me now. Upon hearing this name from someone else, Miss Canwell immediately recognizes who it is. In Miss Canwell's memory, it is revealed who used to call her by that name, Prince Julius of the Dragonar Kingdom, who had disappeared for years. This means that the mysterious person is Prince Julius of the Dragonar Kingdom. Back in the present, the mysterious girl knocks Miss Canwell unconscious. After Miss Canwell is knocked out, Prince Julius, the mysterious figure, tells the girl, "Kill her." As the mysterious person says this, his head begins to hurt intensely, and he declares, "I will summon another evil dragon and destroy the entire Dragonar Kingdom in a single strike." Hearing the prince's plan, it seems this time he will summon an extremely dangerous evil dragon, one that will be difficult for Ash and the others to face. In the midst of this event, the scene shifts back to Ash, who is sitting and reflecting on Navi, telling him that Gavel doesn't have much time left. While Ash is contemplating all of this, Eiko, Silva, and Reba arrive, followed by Luca, who comes in a panic. Luca tells Ash that Gavel has disappeared. The scene shifts to several people gasping for breath as they run. Revealed to be Eiko, Luca, Sylvia, and Ash. They are in the forest searching for Gavel, who has gone missing, as explained in the previous episode. In the distance, on top of a cliff, Prince Julius and Miguel watch the group chase after Gavel. After seeing this, Miguel raises his sword, preparing to cast a magical spell, indicating that great destruction is about to occur. Meanwhile, Luca, Eiko, and Ash also arrive at the scene, wondering where Gavel is. Suddenly, an earthquake occurs, and Eiko looks up, noticing something strange happening in the clouds. All these signs indicate that this is all the work of Prince Julius. While they observe the events in the sky, a door opens, and in the darkness, glowing red eyes appear. It is a large group of necromancers, ready to kill Ash and the others. Elsewhere, Reba and the children prepare to fight the necromancers and tell them to be ready for battle. On the other hand, Sylvia orders everyone to quickly enter the tower. The scene returns to Ash, who asks Eiko to give him a magical bow. Eiko refuses, saying that Ash will not be able to defeat the necromancers. However, Ash pleads confidently, asking Eiko to trust him. Eventually, Eiko agrees to create the bow for Ash, but warns him that if she creates the bow, her body will be paralyzed. Ash confidently assures Eiko that he will protect her while she is inside the bow. Hearing Ash's confidence, Eiko quickly begins to create the bow, sacrificing her body. Consciousness fades, and at that moment, we see that Sylvia, due to her dragon's incredible speed, has entered deep into the tower and sees many ancient temples before her. At the same time, Ash sees Princess Julius. Seeing Princess Julius, Sylvia asks, "How are you still alive until now?" With surprise, we are taken to another scene, where we learn that Julius was once a very kind person, but for some reason, he suddenly killed his own dragon, which led to Julius being sentenced to death in the Dragonar Kingdom. Afterward, everyone thought Julius was dead, but in reality, he wasn't. Julius is still alive. Seeing this, Sylvia is deeply shocked. In the midst of this, Julius laughs and says, "That's enough, Sylvia. Now it's time to take over the Dragonar Kingdom." Suddenly, the ground begins to shake from Julius' voice, and a massive dragon emerges from the earth in a terrifying manner. The dragon gazes menacingly at Ash and everyone, as if ready to kill them all. As the scene shifts, we see elsewhere that many people are once again motivated by the matters of necrolithic and necrology. They are confident that they will defeat the necromancers. The scene returns to Ash, Sylvia, and Eiko, where Ash is protecting Eiko's body. The number of necrology does not decrease. Instead, it continues to grow, so much so that Sylvia cannot defeat them. After Sylvia and Luca are defeated, tentacles begin to approach Eiko and snatch her away from Ash. Seeing this, Ash becomes extremely angry, but he is powerless because he lacks the strength or weapon at that moment. Ash can only watch in rage as Eiko is taken from him, and he screams out Coco's name, which awakens Eiko. Coco, seeing her condition, is furious with Ash and says, "You said you would protect my body?" After a moment, she understands Ash's situation and activates her Arkansas. Then, we see a very strong aura surrounding Ash. In his arc form, without wasting time, Ash immediately charges toward Princess Julius and engages in close combat. In the midst of the fight, we also see Sylvia battling fiercely against the giant necromancer. The scene returns to Ash and Princess Julius, where Princess Julius says, "Let's begin." Julius then summons numerous necromancers. Seeing this, Eiko tells Ash, "Your armor is designed for defense, so you can use many attacks from there." Hearing this, Ash immediately uses the full power of his armor. When his magical spell is complete, many devices appear from the spell and directly attack Princess Julius. However, Julius, with her incredible speed, manages to dodge the attacks. She destroys all the devices and strikes Ash, throwing him far away. With just one strike, Princess Julius manages to almost completely destroy Ash's armor, leaving only one hand with the Arkansas. Despite this, Ash bravely moves forward to attack Princess Julius without fear. At the same time, Princess Julius also charges toward Ash. However, at that moment, one of Ash's remaining devices strikes Julius' hand, causing Julius' hand to turn to stone. At the same time, Luca, Sylvia, and the others arrive, and Julius realizes that it's better for her to leave the scene. She escapes, riding her dragon. After Julius left, everyone noticed that the battle between the necromancers and the students was still ongoing. Necrology felt it was time to help everyone since they had helped him so much up until now. For unknown reasons, Luca jumped off a cliff with Ash. Eiko couldn't understand why Luca jumped while carrying Ash, but as they fell, Luca said to Ash, "If Gavel doesn't come, we'll die. So I wanted to thank you for everything you've done for me." Ash said nothing. At the same time, Gavel realized that his master would die, and their bones would be shattered. The scene shifted to Rebecca, who was struggling against many necromancers. The necromancers were defeating the students, but then Luca and Gavel arrived. With one attack, Gavel destroyed all the necromancers. Seeing this attack, we realized how powerful Luca and Gavel had become. This was an attack they previously couldn't do, but now they succeeded together. In the midst of all this, we see Rebecca feeling overjoyed that all the students were safe and all the necromancers had been destroyed. We see everyone gathered, talking in the student council. During their conversation, a messenger arrived, bringing a letter for Sylvia. In the letter, Sylvia's father requested that she return to the capital immediately and bring Ash and Eiko with her. In the next scene, we see Sylvia riding her dragon, taking Ash and Eiko to her city. Upon arriving in the capital, they were welcomed with great splendor. In the midst of the celebration, Sylvia mentioned that she needed to meet her father right away to understand why she was summoned. The next scene showed Sylvia meeting her father, who was so happy to see her after so long. However, when he tried to hug her, Sylvia punched him and threw him far away. She then asked why she had been summoned, and her father explained that Veronica had deemed her worthy to become the princess of the Dragon Kingdom. Veronica wanted to pass the responsibilities of the kingdom on to her. Sylvia was somewhat upset to hear this and asked why Ash and Eiko were also summoned with her. Sylvia's father explained that he had heard many stories about Ash and Eiko, especially how Ash, who was born without wings, was able to unlock his powers and even defeat the necromancers. Thus, he wanted to meet Ash. In the middle of this conversation, the scene shifted to Ash, Eiko, and Princess Sylvia's servant, Paris, who were wandering around the capital of the Dragonar Kingdom. Ash and Eiko were enjoying their time, especially Eiko, who was very enthusiastic. As they wandered, they saw some couples kissing, which made Ash and Eiko feel very embarrassed. In the middle of this awkward moment, Ash and Eiko's attention was drawn to a large ship. Curious about its owner, Paris told them it belonged to Princess Veronica, who had come to attend a party. The scene then shifted, and we saw Ash and Eiko getting ready to meet the king. At the same time, Sylvia arrived wearing a formal gown, and Ash couldn't help but compliment how beautiful Sylvia looked, which made Eiko very angry, and she immediately started choking Ash. This funny moment was followed by the king honoring Ash for his service in saving the kingdom from a great crisis without the king's help. As Ash received this honor, Sylvia felt embarrassed, thinking that she might be able to marry Ash now. Meanwhile, a man named Marksman and his associates were constructing a machine designed to destroy the capital and cause chaos throughout the Dragonar kingdom. However, they needed Eiko to activate the machine, so Marksman ordered Anya to kidnap Eiko. The scene then shifted to Sylvia and Veronica discussing who Marksman might be. Sylvia believed that Marksman might be her brother, Julius, who was thought to have died several years ago. They were confused about how Julius could be alive if he was supposed to be dead. Meanwhile, Eiko was trying on various dresses because she wanted to look like Sylvia. Paris, Sylvia's servant, asked Eiko why she wanted to look like Sylvia. Eiko explained that she thought Ash might like Sylvia, but he never looked at her the same way. So, she wanted to look as beautiful as Sylvia so that Ash would like her too. Upon hearing this, Paris explained that it was impossible, as Eiko is a dragon and Sylvia is human, and Ash could only marry a human. Hearing this, Eiko was deeply hurt and ran away. Meanwhile, Sylvia remained restless, pondering who the real Marksman was and whether he was truly Julius. If Julius were indeed alive, it would be a great disgrace to the Dragonar kingdom, as Julius was the first king of the kingdom and Sylvia's brother. However, Ash told Sylvia that she shouldn't dwell on it too much and should focus more on leading the kingdom and making her people happy. Hearing this, Sylvia felt somewhat relieved, and Ash was glad to see her calm down. Suddenly, lightning struck, causing Sylvia to panic. Ash approached her, and while trying to avoid the lightning, he accidentally fell on top of Sylvia. In that moment, Ash felt drawn to Sylvia and nearly kissed her, but just in time. Sylvia's maid arrived and interrupted them. The maid had come to invite Sylvia to a party, and upon hearing this, Sylvia left with her. Elsewhere, we see someone running in distress, noticing a mysterious girl with a group of associates plotting to kidnap her. All of this was also witnessed by Eiko. Amid the chaos, we return to Ash, who was searching for Eiko, as he hadn't seen her for a while. During his search, Ash encountered Sylvia's maid, who informed him that as a noble, he should attend the party. She offered to look for Eiko, and Ash, though reluctant, agreed to attend the party with Princess Sylvia as his noble duty. At the party, Ash noticed a mysterious masked man and tried to stop him, asking what he was doing there. However, the masked man gave no answer, and a high-ranking noble with him told Ash that the masked man was with him, and Ash shouldn't interfere. After saying that, they left, and though Ash tried to stop them, Sylvia held him back. Elsewhere, Eiko almost attacked them, but Anya used her martial arts skills to injure Coco. In an attempt to save Coco, Princess Sylvia's maid, Paris, was also injured. We then returned to Ash and Sylvia, who were dancing in perfect harmony. After a while, another noble approached and tried to ask Sylvia to dance, but Sylvia ignored him and approached the masked man to dance with him. Without showing any emotion, the masked man agreed. As they danced, Sylvia asked whether the masked man was her brother, Julius, and begged him to answer. But the masked man remained silent, and the party ended without Sylvia getting any answers about the man's identity. Later, Sylvia's maid arrived and informed them that Eiko had been kidnapped. We then see Paris explaining how she tried to save Eiko, but the kidnappers managed to take her away. The scene then shifts to the kidnappers, who had placed Eiko inside a machine and were electrocuting her. Their plan was to awaken Eiko's true form by giving her a massive shock so that when she reached her full power, she would destroy the entire kingdom. Initially, their plan didn't work, but after increasing the power of the machine, Eiko began to feel pain and transformed into her incredibly powerful true form, destroying the machine and the entire place. Meanwhile, Ash and Sylvia were searching for Eiko. During the search, Ash's hand began to ache, and the curse mark on his body activated. Sylvia looked up at the sky and noticed something strange. Seeing this, Ash realized that Eiko was trapped inside the object. Sylvia's dragon felt threatened and decided to attack the object alone. As Sylvia's dragon approached the object, it shattered like an egg, and a tremendously powerful dragon emerged. Seeing the dragon, Ash felt pain in his hand and realized that the dragon was actually Eiko in her dragon form. As Eiko transformed into her dragon form, the entire Dragonar kingdom was thrown into chaos. Earthquakes began, and it became clear just how powerful Eiko's dragon form was. Amid the chaos, everyone tried to flee. Princess Veronica noticed a man standing still, watching the dragon. Seeing this, Princess Veronica said to the masked man, "Take off your mask. Who are you really?" When the masked man removed his mask, Princess Veronica saw that he was her brother, Prince Julius. Shocked to see Julius still alive, Veronica asked, "How are you still alive?" Julius responded, "I am not Julius. In truth, I am Bahamut, the Dark Dragon. I was born as part of Julius years ago, and my goal is to destroy humanity and establish a dragon kingdom. But Julius discovered my plan and tried to kill me. However, I managed to escape and take over his body. Now, I use Julius' body as a vessel." Hearing all of this, one of Princess Veronica's soldiers became enraged and immediately attacked Julius, who was actually Bahamut. However, Bahamut effortlessly threw him away. After tossing Veronica's commander aside, Bahamut began to leave Julius's body because he sought to possess the strongest body in this world, Eiko's body. Bahamut left Julius's body and moved to take over Eiko's. As Bahamut departed from Julius, Julius, though weakened, regained consciousness and immediately said to Princess Veronica, "We must save this kingdom." The scene then shifts, showing Eiko's body beginning to turn black, indicating that Bahamut had started taking control. As Bahamut attempted to possess Eiko, he saw a girl inside Eiko's body, Navi. Navi stared at Bahamut and said, "If you value your life, you'd better leave Eiko's body now." Hearing this, Bahamut grew furious and attacked Navi. In the midst of this attack, we see a scene outside Eiko's body, where Princess Veronica explained everything about Julius to Ash. After learning everything, Ash began to trust Julius. Julius then said to Ash, "If we are to save the Digna Kingdom, we must gain control over Eiko, and you must come with me." The next scene shows Prince Julius and Ash boarding a ship to approach the dragon. The dragon, which was actually Bahamut, saw the ship approaching and immediately attacked it. However, at that very moment, several other dragons appeared and managed to restrain Bahamut. Seizing the opportunity, Ash leaped toward Bahamut, aiming for his head. Inside Eiko's body, we see Eiko trapped within herself. Then Navi appeared and gave all her power to Eiko, saying, "You must do something to save Ash, because he's done so much for you." After that, from the same week, as we exit Bahamut's body, which is now Eiko's body, we see that Bahamut has fully taken control of Eiko's body. He even shattered the dragon's chains and knocked Ash off his body. As Ash was falling, at the perfect moment, Luca and her dragon, Galleon, arrived to save Ash from the fall. Not only Luca, but Ash's other friends, including Rebecca, also came to help. Amidst this situation, Ash explained his entire plan to Luca. He said, "Take me right above Bahamut's head." And as soon as she heard that, Luca and Galleon sped toward Bahamut's head at full speed. As they neared Bahamut's head, Ash leaped onto Bahamut. However, Bahamut saw Ash approaching and launched a dangerously powerful magical attack at him. Just as the attack was about to hit Ash, he transformed into his arc suit, which Eiko, from within Bahamut's body, had created for Ash. The arc suit was highly defensive, capable of absorbing the full force of Bahamut, the evil dragon. Without wasting any time, Ash summoned his sword and immediately struck Bahamut with all his strength. In a single blow, Ash managed to defeat Bahamut. As soon as Bahamut fell, Eiko returned to her original form. The first thing Eiko did upon returning to her true form was embrace Ash. So, my friends, at this point, Bahamut has been slain. He was the main villain of Dragnar Academy. Eiko has now fully mastered her powers and has even become the strongest in this world. We also see a significant change in Ash, who at the beginning of the series had no powers, but now, at the end, he possesses the most powerful strength in the world.